Hi, Writers, Cruz here. Thank you so much for joining me. In this video, I'm going to be sharing a creative nonfiction writing based off of a poetsandwriters.org prompt, which focused on phobias. In this case, I fear pull tab cans, and that is what I will be sharing with you today. 1. Carefully lift tab to rim. 2. Peel back slowly. Caution. Edges may be sharp. Do not use can opener. These instructions accompany some of the soup cans that I buy. Reading these instructions always provide a moment of pause, a breath, for me to visualize what would happen to one of my fingers or thumbs should I slice one open due to my own clumsy negligence. Why do I have such an aversion, such an irrational fear, such a phobia to pull tab cans? Something about the act of holding the can in one hand and inserting the fingers of my other hand on the pull tab as I slowly pry a sharp metallic object open scares me to death. I have never cut myself on one of those cans, but for years when I saw one, I would either pass the can to someone who would open it, or I would simply refuse to buy the can in the first place. Ridiculous, I know, but am I alone in this phobia? When I shared this fear with my mother, I learned that as a young child, she cut herself on one of those pull tab cans. However, she was so scared to tell her parents, she used a butterfly bandage to cover up her injury. Her story had me thinking, is it possible to inherit parental phobias? Perhaps as a child, I sensed my mother's own fear of those pull tab cans and simply internalized it. I am convinced that the latter is true. I can visualize myself in the kitchen grabbing a can of soup and before opening it, my mother saying something motherly, something like, "Be careful not to cut your finger on that can, daughter." And just like that, the damage is done. The phobia has been cemented in my impressionable adolescent brain. Today, I'm happy to report that I can handle pull tab cans. I simply remind my adult self to pause or to breathe just before the pry. And that, writers, was my response to my fear of pull tab cans. Let's take a look at next week's prompt from poetsandwriters.org. This prompt is a poetry prompt called The Blob. In early September, mysterious white blobs began washing ashore on the beaches of Newfoundland in Canada, described as sticky, spongy, and doughy. Beachcombers and scientists alike were confounded. Were the blobs of animal or plant origins? Were they toxic or innocuous or created from industrial waste? As scientists continued to collect samples and run tests on these mysterious blobs, take this period of uncertainty to write a poem about a blob. These beach blobs, a blob inspired by science fiction, an explicitly frightening or comedic blob, or perhaps an experience that simply feels blob-like. How does the slipperiness of this concept lend itself to metaphors in your poem? Consider experimenting with the shape of your text, creating a concrete yet blobby poem. And so, writers, that is our prompt for next Tuesday, thanks to poetsandwriters.org. And I appreciate you being here, subscribing, and or recommending this channel to other writers. Cruz out. Love you guys. Have a great rest of your week, and I'll see you again next Tuesday. Bye-bye.